everyone, so welcome to today's video. Today I thought I'd sit down, turn the camera on, and just film myself getting ready for the day. I do want to show some love to some of my higher end products. If you've been watching a lot of my videos recently, you do know that my content has been very much centered around drugstore products, drugstore one brand videos, staying up in the know with all of the new releases from the drugstore, getting them as soon as I can possibly order the products and get them so I can do reviews. And I've discovered some really great products. So the drugstore is full of great formulas, products, and those videos has definitely shown me that I can achieve a really beautiful look with affordable products. But I do love my high end, okay? I have lots of high end. I have loved the formulas, the performance, everything about it. So I wanted to show some love to some of those products because they're really great. I don't want to ignore them and shove them to the back of the drawer because my focus has been shifted towards more affordable brands, drugstore products. I want to use all of my things, and I have so many great products and I just want to use it. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to get ready. It's going to be mostly high-end products. In fact, probably entirely all high-end. So if that sounds good, let's get our makeup goodies out and let's get ready together. I'm starting off with primer. I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Pore Diffusing Primer. This is a travel size that I have, and I meant to order the full size during the last Sephora sale that happened back in April, and I just completely forgot about it. So I do need to pick up another one of those. I definitely have enjoyed this very much for a long time. That is not a new favorite of mine. I do think it's nice and silky, smooth, goes right over the pores really nicely, and it works across the board with pretty much any foundation that I put on top. Skin prep was done prior to filming. I did not include that in this video because it does take a lot of time to do more skincare based products before the makeup. I'm going to list everything that I use. I'm using a lot of Prequel skincare products, some Paula's Choice, so I'm going to just list it and link it for you down below in case you're interested. Also, to start the video off, I've already done the majority of my brow with the brow definer from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade medium brown. And then I have the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Balm. These are the plumping lip balms in pink marshmallow, just to kind of get my lips nice and soft and conditioned so that they're ready to go for the lip product today. Now the primer's taken care of, I'm going to do some mixing with some foundations. One that I have been loving a lot over the last few months. Another one that's been a favorite of mine for a very long time. I'm going to mix the two together and create my own little custom concoction for the day. I'm going to add some bronzing drops to it, so we're just going to play with some products. First up is the Clinique Even Better Clinical Foundation. I love this. It's beautiful. I love the coverage, which is pretty close to full coverage. If you use a brush, it's full coverage. I love the finish of this. It's more of a satin finish. The color tones and the range of shades is a little tricky to get a match. So I would say if you're interested in this product, definitely check it out in person. I have this shade, which is my current match, and a darker shade because I couldn't figure it out, right? So I ended up with two bottles. I'm gonna use the lighter of the shades that I own. And then I'm gonna show some love to this. This is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow. This is beautiful. It's a filter in a bottle. I've used half of this already. I love this. This is gorgeous on the skin. I'm going to mix it into the Clinique, and then I'm going to add a little bit of bronze because, you know, why not? We're in summer, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to add some of this Saie product. This is the Glow Super Gel in the Sun Glow, so the newer shade that they came out with recently. It's a bit of a bronze kind of glow. You can use any bronzing drops. I mean, every brand at this point has their version of it, and they're trying to dupe Drunk Elephant, so there you go. Saie has their own. I'm going to mix these on my makeup palette, blend it in with a beauty blender. So my mixture consists of half a pump of Saie, Dewy Super Gel in the deep shade, and 1 pump of each foundation, just so that I can get somewhat of an accurate mixture going on in my makeup palette, just to kind of give you an idea of how much I'm using. I'm not going to use all of that because it's a lot of product, but I'm just going to kind of tell you how much I mixed and what I'm going to be blending together to get this look today. So by adding the Hourglass foundation to this Clinique foundation, it's going to add a little bit more glow, which is what I love about the Hourglass. It's like a filter in a bottle. It's beautiful. And the Clinique, since it's more kind of satin, leaning towards more matte, still looks pretty on the skin on its own without being mixed with anything. I think the two together are going to really complement each other. You're going to have a little bit of glow from Hourglass, and then you're going to have more of that fuller coverage that comes from the Clinique foundation. Moving on to the under eye concealer mixture for today, I'm going to start with a brightener, the Caliray Hideaway in the shade Dawn, which is the light pink. I did pick this up during the last Sephora sale, and I have used this a lot. I do think it's really pretty how it kind of brightens the under eye area, and for someone like me that's more fair, these light pink tones tend to do correcting and brightening, which I like. I also like soft kind of peach tones, but the peach tone has to be the right lightness to it, because if it's too dark, it doesn't really do much. I feel like it adds more darkness than anything. But this brightener from Caliray is actually really pretty, and the packaging is a glass component, which is different than most makeup products. It tends to be more plastic, so that's a nice little touch, a little added bonus to the product, makes it a little bit more luxe feeling. Beyond the packaging, it actually does something for the under eyes, and I love this on more no makeup days. It's beautiful. Then I'm going to show some love to my Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have the shade 0.5N, and this is a nice formula. It hydrates, it has coverage, it looks beautiful, and it's one of those super expensive products and high-end like luxury brands that actually does work. And I like how the formula is actually really good. It's not one of those that is so expensive and you can get something equally as good or better from the drugstore. I feel like this is definitely one that stands out in my collection. I did a video a long time ago, I don't remember how long back this was, with my top favorite concealers, and this one definitely snuck into the end of that video because it's just so good. I really do think it's one of those luxury products that's definitely worth the price tag. And it blended right over that brightener with ease. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. To set and do a little bit of baking, I gotta use my Huda Beauty Easy Bake. I've done this technique for the last 2 months or so, and this is not a new concept or technique. It's been out there for the longest time. I just never really did it. I used just enough setting powder to set my concealer, and then I moved on to the next part of my routine. But one day I actually tried it. This powder is called Easy Bake, so I thought this is going to be the best powder for me to try this out. And let me tell you, I have done this technique with a lot of different powders, high-end and also drugstore, and there's just something about this powder, it just hits different, okay? It just looks different, and it makes the under eye area look beautiful, whether you just use it to set just a small amount, whether you do the baking technique and apply this a little bit more heavily and let it sit on the skin for a little bit. Either way, there's something different about this powder, and none of my other ones that are high-end can do exactly what this does. So there's something about this that I do feel like it's absolutely worth the investment. I like using the little velour puffs. This is one from the Sephora collection that I picked up during the sale. And during the sale, I picked up the fragrance-free version of the shade Sugar Cookie, which is the one that looks more white, and I like this color. I think it works out for my fair skin. But I think that the original that has fragrance does the exact same thing because I own Pound Cake in that formula and I can't tell a difference besides the shade. So it's definitely worth it, and I love this powder. I've often said that if you have a lot of powder to do the technique with baking and it looks like you did way too much and you just went way too far too quickly, you're doing it right. You have to let it sit, and it does look crazy. It looks wild. It's wild times over here, you know? It's gonna look crazy. You have to trust the process. You're gonna dust it off. You're not gonna wear this around the house. You're not gonna go out in public with it like this. It's just gonna hang out here behind closed doors. No one's gonna know except you and me, one-on-one here today. And this is gonna get dust away very soon. So what I like to do while that is setting and doing its thing, working its magic, I tend to go to the brows. But we already had those done pretty much all the way. I'm going to do some fill-ins with a brow pen and then my brow gel, which is going to be from Rare Beauty. But before that, I want to kind of share with you what I do with the excess left over on my makeup puff so that I don't waste the product. I do kind of smush it into my paper towel that I usually keep down on my desk to help clean up and prevent any messes. I kind of work on a paper towel most days. I will then take the velour puff and just press it right in through the center of my forehead where I would have some oil production. I don't do this all the time, but since we're in summer and it's hot outside, this is a little bit of an insurance policy to make sure that my makeup is going to stay in place all day and look good throughout the day. So I'm just pushing whatever's left. I'm not picking up any extra product. Gonna go on the chin, over the nose, And if I'm going to use creams, then I won't set the rest of my face. But I think today mostly I'm aiming to use powders. So I'm just going to lightly press, just gently, ever so slightly. Again, to just use whatever was on my puff so that I don't waste any product. I'm also going to take care of my eyeshadow primer as well while this bake sits. I'm going to go in with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I use this every single day. I usually use my fingers to blend this in, or you can use a brush, but this is a great primer. It has a little bit of color, cancels out any veining and discoloration on my lids, and it does prevent creasing. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's a classic. It's old school MAC. It doesn't get any better than that, does it? So I'm going to use my Real Techniques setting brush. I just recently washed all of my brushes, and let me tell you, it feels so good to have clean brushes. It's the 402 setting brush. That's the perfect brush for dusting away the bake. You can also use it to set your concealer. You can use this for highlighter. I mean, there's lots of different uses for this brush. Even though it's called a setting brush, it doesn't have to be a setting step in your routine. It's a great size, and it's perfect for dusting away the bake, whether you put it all over your face, whether it's just under the eyes, and just like that, all of that excess powder is gone. Time for a little bit of bronzer, and every time I open my drawer to go in and grab my high-end products and bronzers, I find myself reaching for the Makeup by Mario. This is the bronzer that I bought back in April, the Soft Sculpt bronzer in light medium. And every time I open that drawer, like I said, it's like I reach for that without even thinking. It's just such a beautiful formula. It's velvety, it's smooth when you blend it. It looks really pretty. The light medium is a perfect shade for me. And I love the formula. It's not super luminous, but it's not flat, matte, and dry and like chalky looking. There's something really beautiful about this, which is why I keep using it. And I love blending in with my BK Beauty 111 brush, which I believe is described as a dense bronzer brush. Again, I washed it and I cannot wait to dive on in with it because I have missed using this brush. It's been dirty for a while, so I've been using other brushes, but just this is it, okay? So I'm going to add just a little bit of this, and I love the tone of the light medium because it bronzes the skin, adds that warmth and that typical bronze glow to the skin without adding any shimmer and sheen to it. I love it. I think Makeup by Mario, he does some really beautiful products, and he does a lot of bronzing products really well. If you want something a little bit more balmy, a little bit more kind of glossy and luminous and creamy on the skin, he does have these, the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. He has a lot of sculpting products, and I have the shade Light, and I remember there was a time where I used this, like I have a divot in mine. It's kind of getting a little bit deep. I think I'm going to hit pan if I continue to use it, but I used the heck out of this when I first got it. It's kind of very emollient, kind of that glossy look to the skin. It's really pretty, but since I already have powder, I'm not going to be using that, but it's really, really nice. It's a lot more sheer though than the powder bronzer. We got to add a little bit of blush to this face and kind of start finishing up this routine today. And I decided that I wanted to show some more love to my ambient lighting palettes from Hourglass. This came out several months ago for the holiday season. And this is the Color Story one with the customization on the outside with the owl packaging. I love the owl design. I think it's beautiful. I did a whole review on this. If you're actually curious about knowing my thoughts on it, I will link it for you, but it's old. The video is a couple months old. So I'm going to go into some of these blushes. I think I want to start with this kind of corally shade. Something is calling me to this blush, so I think it's just because I wanted something kind of fun, bright, a little summery, and why not, right? So I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is the Diffused Heat Blush. I'm going to blend this in with my A507 brush from BK Beauty and Angie Hot and Flashy brush set. It's the angled brush. Love this. I love their brushes. I can't say enough good things about BK Beauty brushes. So I'm going to blend this in right over the bronzer, and I'm just picking up very minimal amounts because I can go overboard with blush almost daily. And this one also has quite a bit of pigment, so I'm going to just tread softly, hit the apples of the cheek, bring it up just to kind of give a more lifted effect to the skin and the face. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this kind of corally shade. It's so pretty. And I'm also going to take a little bit right over the nose and right across the forehead with whatever is left. I'm going to do a kind of fake sunburnt effect with this. I've done this technique before, and I've talked to you through the steps of doing this to give yourself the look of a sunburn, which is kind of fresh and more youthful And I just like the way it looks. So I take it over the nose, whatever's left on the brush, and then right across the forehead, basically mimicking the areas that tend to sunburn for the fastest. So the nose and across the forehead and the higher points of the face tend to have more of a sunburn effect much faster than, let's say, your chin, for example. So I like to do that kind of fake sunburnt look. Goes with the whole vibe of the summer theme with the bronze powder from Makeup by Mario, the Saie bronzy addition to the formula of my foundations, and it's just the vibe. I'm just gonna go for it. One of my favorite parts of my routine is using highlighter. I absolutely love doing the highlighting step. It's something I don't really skip. I change it up depending on my mood. I do something soft, light, almost barely there, something a little bit more subtle, something kind of more in between, and then I go full on. You'll see me from outer space with like this metallic glow on my face. But today I'm going to go with something that can kind of go either way, kind of soft depending on how much you use. If you layer it up, can be a little bit more intense. It's the Artist Highlighters from Makeup Forever, and this is in the shade called Wherever Pearl. So it's like an icy pink color. It's beautiful and I love this. I could have used the highlighters from the Ambient palette, but I need to use this, okay? I love this so much. And I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario F1 brush, the opposite end, so it's a dual-ended brush. It's an angled side that's larger for like blush, bronzer, contour, and then basically the same thing but a much smaller size for under the eyes, the lids, for highlighting like I'm going to use today, and it's a really nice multitasking brush. And so I'm going to use this as my main highlighter today, and I'm going to bring it into basically halfway across like the eye and then up. I'm going to do the tip of the nose, right down the center of the bridge of the nose, right through the temples. And I'm also going to use the same brush to go right underneath the brow bone. And the Cupid's bow as well. Can't overlook that. Actually, I'm going to use my finger for this step. I have so many palettes that are in my drawer, and every time I open the drawer to select something to do an eye look for the day, I have a hard time choosing what to use. So I kind of am going to show you what I'm gravitating towards. I've used this new Makeup by Mario Master Mattes, the neutrals, quite a bit since I bought it during the Sephora sale, and I much prefer this version over the original, which is more kind of more warm tones, still some basics, still a great palette to have, but there's just something just different about this that I love. But I also really love the Lawless Dreamy Dozen palette. I've talked about this so much. This is like the perfect everyday palette. Need I say more? Like, it's the everyday, it's just the vibe, it's everything. It's a talc-free palette. It has several different shades. You can do something a little bit more neutral, something a little bit more cool. Then you have some kind of pops of warmth in there. 3 products or 3 eyeshadows that are more shimmery. These 2 are your classic shimmer. This one is a little bit more elevated, a little bit more metallic, equally as beautiful, and I just adore this palette. So I think I'm going to use this to do something just really simple for today. I'm going to start with this shade here called Camel, and this is a very warm, almost kind of like a peanut buttery type of mid-tone tan shade, and I'm going to blend that in with a BK Beauty A503 brush. I'm going to move down to the bottom shadow right underneath that one. This one's called Hazel, and this one's a little bit more of a neutral tan shade. So I'm going to take that shade and apply most of it to the outer corner of the eye and blend it in about halfway into that Camel shade, so that really warm tone. And even though this shade specifically is more of a kind of neutral, when you put it over the Camel or a warmer tone shadow, it does pick up a little bit more of those kind of warm undertones. So it's going to look a little bit more warm on today than it would had I just used that shade on its own. I'm going to wipe off my brush really well and then just blend those 2 shades together. If I need to, bring in a clean crease brush to help me blend. I'm going to work on the lower lash line. I'm going to add a little bit more depth and smokiness to this look, and I'm going to use the shade called Truffle, which looks like this, and it's a bit more of a cooler dark brown. And I'm using my BK Beauty 204 smudge brush. And I'm going to apply this really close to the root of my lower lashes, thicker on this outer corner, and then I'm going to taper it very thin as I work towards the inner corner of my eye. Moving back up to the upper lids, I'm going to start with the satin shade, which looks like this. It's a really soft champagne shade. I'm going to use my finger to apply this all over the lid. And I'm going to do a patting motion from inner corner to outer corner. And this color has a very, very subtle hint of gold undertone to it, and I think it's pretty. I normally don't wear a lot of gold shades, but this one is really nice. It's still light and bright with a hint of a gold tone to it, but it's not like gold gold, and it's pretty. It looks beautiful with these colors. I think I want to add a little bit of depth to the outer V of the eye just to complete this look and kind of pull in the deeper tones from the lower lashes and bring it up to the outer V. So I'm going to go back to that truffle shade, which is the cool tone brown color. And I'm going to pat this right on this outer part of my eye with a Sephora Pro 15 brush. And then I'm going to go back into that first crease brush, and then I'm going to blend the edge of that out just a little bit further. Again, still keeping it right on that outer area of the eye. I am now taking the Makeup Forever highlighter that I use on my face with a small ColourPop brush. This is actually an E29 brush, and I'm going to use that to highlight just a little bit in the inner corner. I seriously cannot get over how stinking beautiful this highlighter is. I'm telling you, the packaging sucks, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. They could have done better, way better with that, but the formula on the inside is 10 out of 10. It's spectacular. Now it's time for eyeliner and mascara. I'm going to start with the Sephora Colorful 12-Hour Eyeliner Pencils. The shade that I have is number 13 Tiramisu. It's a classic creamy, dark, rich brown that's matte. These are so good for tight lining. They're super creamy and easy to use, and I love using them also for my main liner. So I'm going to start tight lining first. I'm also going to take that same eyeliner and just do a very thin line really close to the base of the root of the lash, just to give me a little bit of smokiness and just to deepen the lash base so that it looks thicker when I apply my mascara. And these are so creamy and easy to use, and my pencil is not very sharp. I did sharpen it a while back, and I can still do a pretty precise line even though the tip is more kind of worn down. They're just so easy, and I feel like I definitely need to pick up some more shades. I have this one. I have like a plummy, like eggplant type shade that's a little bit more kind of purpley. It's this one right here. This one is called Sangria, so it's really deep and rich, but there's a definite purple undertone to it. So if you like having some color with your eyeliners, but you don't want something super wild, they have some really great kind of wearable shades, but they also have really bright, fun shades and various different types of finishes. So this one that I'm using is matte. Then for mascara, I'm going to use my Tower 28 mascara. This is the Make Waves. I love this formula. I first started off with the black. I'm using the brown shade today, which is called Drift, and I do like the tone of this brown. But if I were to recommend a shade, I would say pick this formula up in the black, the original. It is so good. It gives you length, thickness, separation. It holds curl really nicely, and it's just so, so nice. But this brown shade, the Drift, is pretty too. It's a very dark brown shade. And look at the difference, you guys. This is just one coat. Can you believe it? I'm telling you, this mascara is so, so good at Sephora. It's definitely one of those must-haves. I think it's well worth the investment. And here is the completed eye look. I'm going to just let this mascara speak for itself. Do you see the length, the thickness, the separation, the fanned out from inner to outer corner? It is a stunning mascara. I love this. If you are looking for another great option at Sephora that falls under the clean at Sephora category like the Tower 28, I would say the Ilia Limitless Mascara. It'll be linked for you down below. It is absolutely bomb diggity. I need to get myself another tube of that. I love that mascara. So those would be my top two in the clean at Sephora. Another really great mascara is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Mascara. I've gone through so many tubes of that, and it's a beautiful formula to give you that kind of false eyelash effect. If you like a thicker look to your lashes, that one is it. So I will link all of my favorites down below. I have loved a lot of the Lawless lip products. I started off at the beginning with the Forget the Filler Balm to prep my lips in the pink marshmallow, which is pretty much clear, doesn't have any color. They do have other ones in that range if you're looking for more of a balm. It's kind of like easy, it's a twist up, it's no fuss, no mess. Check them out. I do really love their lip liners. I have 2 shades. I'm going to use Pink Sand today. And I also thought about using some of their Forget the Filler glosses. These are the plumping glosses. And then the other product that I had out that I wanted to use was the YSL Rouge Volupte in number 44. I think I'm going to do a concoction of different things, but we're going to start with the Pink Sand lip liner. Look at this color. I just adore the Pink Sand shade. This formula of lip liner is something I feel like no one really talks about. This is one of their best products, and I have a lot of Lawless products. Of course, the eyeshadow is my number one, but this lip liner is spectacular. I do have the Velvet Peach, which is just absolutely divine. It's so hard to kind of pick a lip liner because I've been so much into my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk in Fair. Now, the original is Everyday, yes, chef's kiss, love it, recommend it, get you some. But the Fair is that cool tone, My Lips But Better, like almost perfect for me personally, and I just love it. But this one from Lawless, these are the Forget the Filler Lip Definer pencils, are just as equally as good as the Charlotte. I love them both. So I'm going to do a kind of Lawless lip for today, and I have a couple of their lip fillers, the plumping gloss, but the velvet shade is actually really pretty. I'm going to see how it looks with this kind of more warm tone, easy everyday kind of look. And so this is like a soft pink with a hint of a mauve undertone to it. It's beautiful. I love the applicator. It kind of hugs. It's almost like a little hand that looks like this, almost that same shape, that just kind of hugs the curves of your lips, and just it's beautiful. I love the applicator, and the formula is amazing. The Forget the Filler gloss that I just put on in Velvet with the Pink Sand is like a match made in heaven. You have a kind of cooling sensation on the lips. It's nothing painful. It doesn't sting. It doesn't burn, because I don't get down with that. So I love these. It's kind of almost refreshing, kind of minty feeling. It's very, very subtle, but I love the shine. The shine, guys. This is so glossy, which I love a glossy lip. It fills in the lines of the lips. It goes on like butter, and it looks so beautiful, and it automatically makes your lips look fuller and bigger, which I'm all about. And then pair it with that lip liner. It's like a perfect combo. It may not necessarily be the right color to go with this eye. I probably should have done something a little bit more nude, a little less pink maybe, but I don't care, because I am going to rock this because I love it so much. And that's the lip combo for today. I'm going to roll with it. And that is the full face today. What do you think? I love these products. I love them so, so much. And I just wanted to sit down and show some love to these products. And it feels so good to sit down and use products that just work. It makes getting ready more fun. It makes the day better for me personally. It lifts my spirits and my mood when my makeup just looks great and the products are playing well together and everybody's just getting along, and it's a great feeling. And these products are just 10 out of 10. And I love sharing my favorites with you guys. And these are definitely favorites. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's nothing in this video that I wouldn't tell you to just hit pause on this video and go purchase and come back and thank me later. These are beautiful formulas. They all just perform so well. That eyeshadow palette, the talc-free Dreamy doesn't. It literally blends itself. It's so, so easy. It's the perfect everyday. The complexion is looking amazing. Amazing. Those two foundations mixed together is great. I love the way that looks. The baking powder from Huda Beauty, of course, I knew I loved that, and that was going to work out. It's always going to work, okay? I never have to fear that that powder is going to make me look heavy, dry, or make me look like I've aged 10 years instantly. Like, it's a beautiful formula. And the under eyes special formula with the Dior mixed with the Brightener, I love that. I just feel like everything is just looking so good. And I'm so happy to share these products with you guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. As always, the links will be down below in the description box in case you would like to shop any product that was featured in today's video. I appreciate you so much for spending some of your day here with me. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit that notification bell. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. And we can also be friends and connect over on Instagram. My username pops up here on the screen. I'd love to see you there. Take care, you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.